Hi everyone, it's Carly here today to show you how to do the GA makeup tutorial for the 2018 competition season. So I'm just starting out here by putting a little bit of powder on my face. I'm using the Rimmel Stay Matte powder and a Real Techniques brush. This step is optional, however I would recommend it absolutely just to make sure that your skin tone looks all even. I also put it on my eyelids to kind of give the eyeshadow a little bit of base to stand out on. I prefer to use kind of tapping motions because I find that helps as well. Get it on evenly. So here's the e.l.f. palette. We're going to start by using the number 1 shade, the lightest shade. And we're going to be putting it all over the eyelid, just as a base. So I'm using my Real Techniques, the fluffier brush out of the two. And I'm just applying it all over my lid. And you want to use the shadow quite generously. So I always find that kind of a tapping and swiping motion works best to kind of get it on there evenly. So now I'm going to be taking the number 3 shade. That's the third one in. It's kind of like the light brown. And I'm also going to be applying that all over the lid, up into the crease, not above the crease. So I kind of started at the crease and worked down just so that I wouldn't go above by accident. So I'm just kind of swiping the number 3 shade kind of all over the lid, and then I start dabbing when I work my way downwards towards the lash line. So now I'm using the number 8 shade, that's the dark brown, and I'm going to be putting that in my crease using windshield wiper motions, kind of just back and forth. I like to start kind of in the middle and then work outward so that neither side is really super dark and I can kind of blend it both that way. So I'm just kind of spreading it evenly about the crease and then I'm just blending it out. In between each time I apply a different color, I like to wipe the brush on my arm just so that it doesn't have any of the previous color on there and I'm working with kind of a clean brush. So I like to go back into the shadow if I'm finding like I need it to be darker. You want the crease to be noticeably darker and then just continue to blend it out. Blend for your life, as we always say. So you keep doing that until it looks noticeably darker and you're kind of happy with how it looks. Okay, now we're going to be using the number 10 shade. And that one we're creating like a number 7 on the outside of the eye. And because I do personally have quite small eyes, I like to take it out a little bit past the end of my eye just to give the illusion that my eyes are a little bit bigger. So I take it on the outside and I just pat it on to just really get the color on there, and then I kind of blend it afterwards. So I'm patting that number 7 in on both sides with that number 10 shade. With the fluffy brush. I've been using the same brush this whole time, just kind of wiping it off in between to make sure that the colors don't get muddied. And now I'm going to start blending it. Same with that kind of the windshield wiper motion. And I kind of switch between both eyes just because that's what I prefer, but you can kind of do one eye at a time if that's what you prefer. Now I'm taking the Iced Latte, the L'Oreal Infallible Single Press Shadow, and I'm just using my finger to apply it in the center of my lid, just so that I can get it on, pack it on there and really make it sparkle. I find that I had to go in quite a few times with my finger to really get lots on the lid and make it noticeable. I like to use my fourth finger just because that finger normally has the lightest touch, so you're not like stabbing yourself in the eye. It's a little bit easier to control it that way. But I kind of just keep going back in with more color just to really make it stand out and give that eyelid a more of a dramatic look. And just the inner part, and I kind of take it into the inner corner of the eye as well, just to kind of brighten up the eye and give it the illusion to make it look a little bit bigger. So I'm using that fluffy brush again, and I'm going to take the number 8 shade. I'm just going to go in and kind of blend that out a little bit. Just a little bit. And then I kind of found that might have been a little bit too dark, so now I'm taking that number 3 and going over the crease again. Just to blend it, blend the line in, kind of make sure it all works together. And then I just kind of went over the Iced Latte shade just one more time, just to kind of give it a little more impact. So now I'm just taking a big fluffy brush and kind of just getting rid of the fallout underneath my eyes, because I find that the sparkle shadows do fall out and kind of stick under there. So a clean brush under your eyes kind of gets rid of that. Now I'm going to be applying my lashes. These ones are the Kiss brand, and this is the number 11, so I find that it's a pretty dramatic look. And I've already pre-cut these lashes to kind of fit to my eyes, and I'll just be applying the glue. So there's the Ardell Lash Grip. This is my favorite eyelash glue just because it is easy to use, and it goes on white and then dries clear. So you just want to be very careful with this step and try to really control what's coming out of the tube. I know it's kind of hard to see what I'm doing here, but just putting on really lightly. You don't want it to get stuck in all the lashes. I'm just setting that one down and doing the other one really quickly. And just using a really light hand with squeezing that tube just so that it doesn't come out too fast. So now it's just kind of a waiting game. You want to wait about 30 seconds. I like to blow on them or fan them just to hurry it up a little bit. You want it to be tacky before you put it on your eye, or else it's going to be very difficult for it to stick there. It'll just kind of slide around. So now I'm just looking into a mirror to put it on because I find it to be quite difficult, but I like to just place it on and then kind of go from there and re-stick it. Now that it's tacky, it'll kind of stick on while you readjust it. But I just place it right on the lash line there, and I find that it works pretty well. Now we're going to be putting the second one on. And I find that it helps a lot if I kind of squeeze my lashes into the fake lash. Just kind of helps it set into place. Stay where I want it. And then sometimes the glue gets stuck on your lower lash, so you gotta kind of just spread your eyes open so it'll come off. That's pretty normal to happen. Like to fan it out a little bit, just make sure they're comfortable on the eyes, make sure they look all good. Then I'm going in with just a really black mascara to kind of make sure that my own lashes are sticking in with the fake ones so that it looks a little more dramatic. So that's kind of what it looks like when it's all done. So now I'm going to be contouring my face. This is an optional step, of course, but I will show you nevertheless because I find that it makes the face a lot more defined, especially from far away. So I'm going to be using a contour brush from Real Techniques, and I'm just taking the contour shade or the bronzer shade from the Maybelline Master Contour Contouring Kit. So this just another drugstore item that you can get, and I'm just putting it in the hollows of my cheeks and then kind of blending it out. But I like to go in an upwards motion. I just find that it works better for me. Some people like to go downwards. It kind of just depends. And then once I've got some good color on there, I blend it out. However, with this one, it's okay if it's a little more defined, just because your athlete is going to be viewed from quite a distance. So it's nice for people to be able to see it. It can be a little more dramatic with stage makeup. And then I just like to take it kind of up and shadow the outside of my face just so it has a little bit more definition. And just kind of pat it on there and then I blend it out. Now this is a Real Techniques blush brush, and then we're using the blush that's in that contour kit, and we're just going to apply it to the apples of the cheeks, kind of just make a duck face here, and so my cheeks bones kind of stick out so I can see. It should be kind of just directly on top of the bronzer that you just put on. If you're skipping the bronzer step, you can just apply it to the apple of the cheeks, and I just like to kind of brush it on in an upwards motion. Just until your face has some color. And again, this has to be a little more dramatic than your everyday wear just because, again, it needs to be seen from far away. So once you've got some color on there, I like to blend it out. I feel like I put this on a little bit too low, but that's okay. Just blending it in. So now I'm using the other brush, not the blending fluffy brush, but the smaller brush from the Real Techniques eye brushes. And I'm taking the highlight from the contour kit and I'm placing it just above the blush. And this just kind of gives your face some sparkle and shine. I really like the idea of highlighting your face, just it looks very striking from far away, and we're all about bling in the cheer world, so you can kind of see it shimmer on your face. So next I'm going to be taking a eyeliner to just go over top of the mascara or the fake lashes on the lash line there. You can use kind of whatever eyeliner works for you. I just had this liquid liner sitting out, so I'm just kind of applying it directly over the lash line. Just makes it look a little bit more defined. You can use a pencil liner as well. Just kind of a quick line. And now we're moving on to lips. So you can just apply this is the mandatory lip color, the dark red. It's the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Liquid Lipstick, and it's in the shade 366 Stirred. And I just like to start with the inner part and kind of outline the outer part of my lip and then kind of work inwards. and I messed up a little bit. So I'm just going to grab a Q-tip here and wet it and erase the part I fixed. If you can fix it while it's still wet, that's generally the best way to do it. But that's kind of the overall look. Those are all the steps. So you can do it pretty quickly once you practice it and get better at it. And that is it. Voila! Thanks for watching. Can't wait to see you guys at competition. Good luck.